Welcome, everybody, to the Free Fortitude podcast. I'm your host, Uriah Stepp, and I'm joined today with an awesome dude. He is one of my best friends. His name is Chris Hinze. Chris, why don't you introduce yourself?
What's up, everybody? My name is Chris. Like Uriah said, we have been close friends for how long now? It's been quite a few years.
Yeah.
2018, 2019
Yeah,
time.
it's been like 5-6 years.
And we've done some stupid stuff together, but it's been a blast. Built some companies. You decided to leave me because you're a chotch, but we've had a lot of fun together. So yeah, I own a few companies here in Texas, not Colorado where Uriah is. Uriah should be in Texas with me. But yeah, so that's me. I own a real estate brokerage, a hard money lending company, and capital raising company that just expanded to the UAE. Fun
Come
times.
on, dude. That is awesome. So that like just happened.
Yes, I've been back and forth Dubai and here like 5 or 6 times the past few months. It's been a lot of travel.
That's beautiful. Well, I want to just invite all these people into the conversation we were having the other day, and that is a conversation about purpose.
Yeah.
And this is a big deal. You kind of kicked me in my nuts a little bit. But why don't you just share a little bit about your heart with purpose right now, and even the stuff that the precautions and the things that you're implementing in your life to focus on purpose.
Yeah, I'll preface first though, you're right, because you and I are kings of lack of focus and kings of shiny object syndrome,
For
where
sure.
it's like
Squirrel.
if yeah, twirl. If an opportunity,
or balloons, right? Or
see if we can do it. See if we can do it. Come on.
oh my
Yes.
gosh, balloons.
I don't know
Speaking
why that
of
keeps happening.
ADHD. Okay.
Yeah. ADHD is a great way of putting it too, but like a lot of entrepreneurs have severe ADHD, and as opportunities present themselves, we think, ooh, this is just my luck right now. Like, I have to do this. I have to take advantage of it. If I don't, it'll pass me by and I'm missing out on something big or unique or money, whatever it may be.
A FOMO.
FOMO, yes.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs are the kings of FOMO because we don't pass up on any opportunity, whether it's good or bad for us. And so, it's taken me years to realize this. And you're right. When you and I met, I was just leaving the company I used to work for, and I literally just had the real estate brokerage and the wholesale/flip company. That's all we had.
Dude,
And
I
very
know.
quickly,
I almost got ran over by my ex-boss, and you were like, come work with me. Do you remember that?
hey, there were a lot of things that I was like, just come work with me. I think I was telling you like daily, like, why are you slaving away cleaning out dead carcasses from cars and finishing the
Facts.
leather on them?
Dead cats.
Dead
real.
cats. I'll never forget that day because I was like, what is your job? I don't understand that. You just like clean cars, but no, you're like refinishing leather and vinyl and repurposing, and then all of a sudden dead carcasses. I'm good. But we quickly grew that to, mortgage brokerage. What else did I add? I added some crazy stuff in there.
Oh, we were doing off market. We were doing traditional real estate.
Yeah. Getting into the lending sphere,
Yeah.
getting into whatever we could put our hands to, really. And when it came to real estate,
Yeah.
we tried to build the one-stop shop. And I can't say we tried. We actually did build it.
You did.
Was
did.
was it clunky as all get out? Yes. But all the while, I was doing this because all these opportunities came of like, ooh, maybe the wholesale market and flip market was not doing so well. So let's add something else to supplement revenue here. And like, ooh, that's suffering. Let's supplement revenue here. And a lot of times money and fear of not being able to pay your bills, or if you have family, if you're single, whatever it may be, a lot of times the fear is actually what causes you to have shiny object syndrome. Because you're like, crap, I've got to make an adjustment now or my family's going to suffer. That's actually probably the number one reason entrepreneurs pivot and switch, start a new company, whatever it may be, when really you just got to dig in, figure out the problem, and fix it, and figure out, hey, why am I not selling as much? Or hey, why am I not getting as many houses in? Is it a marketing problem? Is it a stewardship problem? Is it whatever kind of problem it is? Um, but it causes us to just pivot and do something completely different. And I'm so good at pivoting, but a lot of times that actually hinders you from making the money and building the life you want when you keep pivoting over and over and over again.
Oh yeah, I would totally agree with that, right? I mean, you've watched it in my life,
Yeah,
even coming back here to Colorado Springs, like my whole world fell apart as soon as I
yeah,
did that. And I would echo the fact that, it is fear that drives us to make some decisions that maybe we should really sit with and think about.
yeah,
um, but in the world we live in too, with it being a microwave society where we got to have it right now, like we got to make this happen right now, you
yeah,
know, it it does not help at all.
yeah. No, it really doesn't. And um, fear has been an interesting thing recently with just like, talking to a lot of people, discipling these young kids in this next generation. Um, I actually had this mentor tell me that in their office, they are not allowed to use the word stressed because stress is actually just a byproduct of fear. If you say you're stressed, like, what are you stressed about? And you're like, I don't know. I'm paying my bills. It's actually a fear.
Mm,
And so if someone says they're stressed, I now ask, okay, what are you afraid of?
mm,
And so I'm trying to remove the word stress from my family's dictionary, from my office's dictionary. Anytime it's like I'm stressed, I'm like, okay, no, what are you actually afraid of? Because if you
yeah.
can identify the fear and, like you said, sit with it, you actually learn a lot. And you like until you recognize it and decide to learn from the fear that's happening, a lot of times that's when we'll just make dumb decisions and do stupid stuff, which you and I are again kings at doing.
Yeah. Jump ship,
Um,
bro. Why
we
not?
jump ship because we're like, oh no, but you jump ship enough times, there's no more boat to get back on.
Well, and ultimately that fear is distracting you from your true purpose and your true identity. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like there's been multiple times when I was just at the tipping point where things were about to blow up
yeah,
and in a good way,
yeah,
right? And then call it fear of success, call it whatever. I would just get in this fear mode and
yeah,
it would ruin me. And
yeah,
ultimately, we've got to get to a place, right? And I'm sure you would agree with this, where our purpose is our sole focus.
yeah. You have to, and I'll actually say this too. Hopefully, it's a good one-liner for you, but purpose and the promises of God and the promises that you feel are on your life, your destiny, I guess you could say, purpose, destiny, promises of God, however you want to say it. A lot of times they are on the other side of fear.
Mm.
You have to go through fear. You have to go through hard things. You have to go through that trough in order to see your purpose revealed. And a lot of times people don't even learn their purpose because they're too dang scared to go through it. And the moment it gets hard or scary, they just jump ship. And so they never even learn their purpose.
That's good, dude. That's good. What are what are some personal stories that you have? I mean, everybody knows my personal stories because I just put them out there, right?
Yeah.
But like, what are some personal stories that you have with facing fear and choosing fear over your purpose and vice versa?
I'll tell you about a time of like a good one of like jumping in with fear. And not knowing how it's going to come out. And I can probably give you a couple of those actually, but um, there's one that I mean, it actually happened today, funny enough. And Uriah and I were talking about it before, but so after we talked about all the real estate stuff, but about 18 months ago, I added a logistics company to my portfolio of businesses, and I thought it was like the best thing in the world. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a fantastic 18 months. Provided a ton of revenue, paid bills, got me health insurance for the first time off of self-employed insurance for the first time. And but recently I just got back from Dubai a few weeks ago, and I feel like I just found my purpose. And like let me say this to everyone listening, that like sometimes you won't know your purpose right off the bat, and you have to make mistakes. You have to build this. You have to jump off the ship enough times. Like you're right. I'd even argue, like, yeah, I think you're dumb for moving back to Colorado, but I feel like your purpose is probably more narrowed now
Yeah,
because of going through the hard stuff.
for sure.
And like, we're so scared of that. But have you also noticed too, and we can talk, we'll go down this rabbit trail later, but like all throughout the Bible, people didn't really start or get their purpose, their ministry, their work, their whatever until they were 30.
Hmm.
And so a lot of times I feel like in our 20s, we're so timid to go try things
Yeah,
that when we turn 30, we're just stuck in this world of whatever you are. If it's a 9 to 5, which I'm not hating on 9 to 5s, if it's wherever you feel stuck, a lot of times because we're too scared to try stuff. But like when you turn 30, a lot of times you get your purpose. And that's when like when I turned 30 is when like all this stuff really started progressing for me and like how I bridge, all this stuff that I do now in a really healthy way and how I've condensed it. But anyways, so I just got back from Dubai a couple weeks ago, and I really feel like I finally got my purpose and how I bridge the things I want to bridge, with that's global missions and for-profit companies, and how I just want to help people all around the world.
you're
Yeah,
good.
so I get back from Dubai, and I feel like I've taken these 5 trips to Dubai, and I feel like my purpose of combining all these things, and you're right, like you and I 6 years ago sat down and said we want to help people around the world, whether that's workers or that's just people, however that is. Dude, we tried things. We
Yeah,
tried like 5 or 6 different things, and they all just didn't work
yeah,
or they blew up in our face or whatever. It wasn't until I turned 30 this past year, I took a huge leap of faith of just buying a plane ticket, going to this venture capital event, and meeting a bunch of billionaires that all of this came to fruition.
yeah,
Well, that was scary, by the way. Just take that chance, just buy the plane ticket. It's absolutely terrifying, but just do it. Um, and so when I got back, I was like, okay, I actually have my purpose now and how to do it. I was able to engineer the vision in a way that helped me get this precise vision of how to build my companies to do my purpose of bridging global missions and for-profit companies. Well, that took 6 years to build. And so today, actually, I put in my intent to terminate my relationship with Amazon and that contract, even though it provided all this amazing stuff. It takes my focus and it takes my identity away from my actual purpose because I'm so focused on what's going on over there that I'm essentially doing a part-time job with what I actually want to be doing and what I feel I'm called to do. And so all these shiny things that could be good things too, like Amazon being a good thing, shiny object, made money, did all this, was actually a hindrance to what I actually feel called to do.
what would you say gives you that I don't know, look into what you're really called to do? What are some like key factors that play into that?
Oh man.
I mean,
We're gonna
obviously you want to be passionate about it. Obviously you want to feel like you're not working.
yeah, I mean, from a business level, have extreme passion about it. Feel like you're not working, have just crazy peace every day that you're like, hey, I could fail tomorrow, but I don't think I will because I can just see the path. Like it's really weird. You don't know it. Um, from a biblical standpoint or from a standpoint of, trusting the Lord and having that background, I read this book recently, right, called Hearing God by Dallas Willard, because I had so many questions.
Mhm.
Because so often we'll say, hey, I heard
Mhm.
God say this, or I feel the Lord say this, but I was like, what does that actually mean? And when am I actually hearing God speak? And um, one of the ways Dallas Willard says you hear God is through other people. And like one of the most common ways is people like prophesying over you or giving you words that confirm
Yeah,
what you're feeling. Dude, I kid you not, in the past 3 months, I've had like 9 people just come up to me, look me dead in the eye, and read my mail about what I've been doing, and they have zero idea what I'm doing. It is
that's crazy. So they're
nuts.
just coming up to you and they're just being like, "Yo, I don't know you, but this, and it all lines up."
Dude, so I was at one last week, and I was with one of our mutual friends. And he knew this lady who gave me this award. So I looked at him halfway through. This lady went on for 4 minutes on me. And dude, she's like, she's just reading my mail in this room of 30 people. And I'm like, I look at James and I'm like, dude, did you tell her what I've been doing? He's like, he's crying. And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening then, because this is direct. So like it's like so direct to your eye. It's not even
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Um, and so after I read that book, I just kept asking the Lord, like, hey, will you just reveal to me when, like, I like this way because it confirms things for me instead of me just saying, oh, I feel like this.
Yeah.
And so that's the other way, is like people who don't even know me are coming up and saying, hey, you're doing this. And I'm like, you're right, I am. How'd you know that? And what's that about? Go on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so,
It's that
uh,
confirmation. It's that understanding, okay, I am taking the right step. Or
yeah,
or sometimes it can be like, oh, I need to take this step now or go
yeah.
this direction now.
Or like, yeah, hey, let's put the brakes on it. But so often us entrepreneurs are so quick to be like, hey, let's just do it because it feels good. It looks good. We don't. And so to answer your question, back to your original question, is how do you know? One thing, the first thing you should always slow the heck down, which we are all terrible at.
What is
Like
that?
we
What is
you
slow?
and I, you and I should not be ever preaching to anyone, hey, slow down, to like wait to like get
Never.
confirmation.
I
To
will
like
never preach that message unless
I
God himself is like Uriah's step. You will preach the message of slowing down.
I know it's so hard to say it, but like this process. So you want to know another way I know it's good and it feels right, is this has been a 7 month process.
Mm.
7 months of building.
We've even made a bet. We made a bet that
We made a bet. Oh, you owe me like half your company, I think, is
no,
what it
not
was.
a chance. Not a chance.
We did make a bet, but it's been 7 months of building slowly,
Mm.
patiently. Um, and like, you and I always talked about the book Visioneering. And dude, like not a lot of people know what I'm doing because I'm actually following that book. And I don't want people to take my idea, so that's the other thing, because I think this idea is brilliant. Um, okay, you laugh. I had a call with Dubai this morning, and dude sent me a proposal. We had an hour-long meeting. Guys, like, hey, I want equity in what you're doing because it doesn't exist, and I'll get it based off my performance of the capital I raised for you to do this. And I was like, holy smokes. We're talking like $100 million raise type thing. So I was
Dang.
like, okay, that's interesting. But it's taken me 7 months of slow, patient build and trusting. And okay, back to the book, the Visioneering. It
Yeah.
literally says like you need to wait and let the vision develop inside of you. If
Mm.
you can't wait and let the vision develop inside of you, then you've actually probably missed the purpose because you're just chasing something. But if it's actually purpose driven, you could sit there as long as it takes because nothing will distract you from what you're focused on. So that's the
Mm.
other part of how you know you're actually chasing your vision, is you're willing to wait for it. If you're not willing to wait for it, it's probably not in your purpose and not in your calling.
One of the things that I've like thought about when it comes to purpose, right, is this only benefiting me? Or is
Ooh,
this benefiting like a community around me? Right? Because
yeah,
I feel like anybody could start a business and build a business
yeah,
and run the business and make a pretty good living at it.
yeah,
But at the expense of who? Most likely it's your family, right?
yeah,
So being able to whatever it is that you're doing and setting out to do and accomplish, like, is it benefiting multiple people? Like
yeah,
your friends, your family, maybe people that you don't even know. It's
yeah,
impacting. And dude, that's what I loved about when we started Ecosia. Like we sat down with both coming from a missionary background, and we were like, I flipping hate fundraising.
oh yeah,
Like
I'm with you.
that was the mission. And it pissed me off so bad because I was in South Africa for, 2 years, and the whole time I was constantly worried about money. And it was
Yeah,
totally distracting me from the actual mission and purpose that I was over there for in the first place.
Yeah.
And so we decided, no, we're going to take a portion and people are going to get helped with it.
Yeah.
And that type of stuff right there is purpose. I feel like that's like, it's bigger than ourselves. It's bigger than even the vision that we have that we can understand in our head. The God vision for it is even bigger. And when it overflows and impacts and helps others around you, I feel like love is in motion. That's a whole nother thing. Love, like, I personally believe, Chris, and you can totally chime in on this if you want. I believe love is power. I believe that whoever you love, wherever you love, God is present because God is love.
Yeah. Love is power. And it's a choice, which makes it even more powerful.
Right. And I think we get to choose certain ventures, certain businesses, certain things. And even if it's just getting a freaking W-2 job and that's what you're supposed to do in that season, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not.
But
do it
I
well.
just can't, I will never go back to W-2. I can't. That's not in me.
You'll get there one day. I'm just kidding. You'll never go back.
No. Unless you're paying my salary, Chris. Are you gonna?
No, I'm good.
Are you saying I'm a liability as a W-2?
Well, I knew, dude, you're a liability if you're a contractor, W-2. It don't matter what you are. I'm just kidding.
So good. What I'm saying is like our purpose is so much bigger than just a business, right?
Or money.
Like our purpose is a way of life. Like we look at Jesus and how he walked out his life. He walked his life out with purpose.
Yeah.
He was never focused on pleasure. Like, I'm sure it brought joy to him to see people get healed, to see all these amazing things. And in that, there was some pleasure there. But his whole goal was purpose.
His whole goal was people. His purpose was people and love.
Come on.
So to be honest, man, and talk about a financial sense, if you were already kind of touching on it, the most value you could provide is to the people around you. Are you choosing people? And if your company, whatever you're doing doesn't choose people, chances are you're probably not aligned with purpose.
That is so on point. And I can even attest to that right now in my life. Like the business I am doing, social media management and content creation and stuff like that. I know for a fact that people buy you.
Yeah.
They are not buying your knowledge. They're not buying the service that you can provide to them to make their lives easier, even though that's a perk.
Yeah.
They want you. They want to know that you are going to be overseeing the processes because of it could be your character, it could be your heart, it could be your style, it could be a number of things.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's you. What do you think about that?
Yeah. People want to work with you. Think of a realtor. How many realtors do you know? Shoot, dude,
Too
I know
many.
too many.
Too many.
But the reason people choose you is because of you. Dude, I can go talk to 20 realtors right now, probably on my street, and I would choose one based on that person. And so how you conduct yourself, how you love people, how you want to put me above a profit, how you conduct yourself around my kids. Yeah, you choose based off people. And then, getting the whole personal brand side, that's why you create content. That's why you put your name out there. That's why people should know who you are, because no one knows to choose you and do business with you if you don't conduct yourself in a way and put it out there that you are this person. That's a whole identity topic too, but we'll get there later.
Facts. We're already, I already see part 2 and part 3 coming. There's no doubt about that. So okay. So on this topic of purpose, then, what would you say, like, bring it home in the sense of home life with family and stuff like that. It's really easy, I feel like, to talk about purpose from the perspective of business and going out and conquering the world and
Yeah.
all these things. But even in the home, right?
Yeah.
There's purpose.
So one of my mentors just told me this quote. Okay. And this is the quote I told you the other day where you literally paused. You're like, I hate you. Because you literally came to me and was like, hey, I may need to add something. I may need to do something. And I was like, I thought for a second. And I said, literally that day too, which was funny. That guy sat down, or maybe the day after, but one of my business coaches goes, Chris, you can serve your purpose or you can serve your weakness, but you cannot serve both.
Mm.
And you think about family, like I'm a dad.
Hold on. Say that again.
You can serve your purpose or you can serve your weakness, but you can't serve both. And I will tell you this, Uriah, until he said that, I thought I was serving my purpose by creating jobs, being this entrepreneur, being this what I thought was bad A business guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually probably my weakness. Creating too much, not focusing on people. And then to your point, family, I'm a dad. I've got 3 kids, got a wife, been married for almost 10 years. Part of my purpose, or let me say this, my purpose in terms of calling what we're doing should include them. But a lot of these businesses didn't include them. I thought it did because I was providing for them, but it actually didn't include them. And it took me away from them. Like I had to go to Missouri all the time for Amazon. My kids came with me a couple of times, but I'm not actually being there with them. And so what I thought my purpose was of creating and developing businesses actually turned out to be my weakness of chasing shiny objects and opportunity. And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until my business coach said that I was like, holy crap, my weakness is shiny object syndrome. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I told you, right? I said, your weakness is shiny object syndrome.
Oh,
The
for sure.
moment it gets hard, the moment you get fearful, we both jump ship.
For sure.
And I was like, crap. And it was at that moment I decided to consolidate everything I have into one business now
Yeah.
that is serving my purpose. And my kids are a part of that. My wife is a part of that. Like we're growing that together now.
Yeah.
And for the first time, I'm still working on the legal side of it, but like for the first time in 6 years, if someone asks me what I do or what companies I own, I now own
One.
not
Yeah.
6, not 5. I do invest in a title company. So like, but I'm an investor. I'm an angel investor. Like I don't do
Hey.
day-to-day stuff, but like I own one company now. I mean, again, all the legal docs it's in the works of that getting there because
Yeah.
of what I've learned recently. So
Scaling down instead of scaling out.
yes. And
Yeah.
in turn, I will scale up with the one now.
Come on.
So, but
Come
it's
on.
terrifying. I just gave up revenue. I just gave up paychecks, but I'm here for my family more. I'm ready to grow this to be what it can be.
Dude, it makes me think. So there's a quote from one of my business coaches as well that I just keeps getting yelled in my ear right now, even as we're talking. And it's he challenged me because he saw how I spin 5,000 plates at one time.
Yeah.
And when one falls, I just find another one to put back up there, you know? Yep. Plate spinner, baby.
Yep.
Um, and he challenged me. He said, Uriah, you can dig a ton of wells a foot deep. You
Yeah.
can do. And he said, but I'm challenging you to go 10 miles deep
With
with
one.
with one and watch what happens. And I'm
Dude,
like, oh,
think about how profound that is because if you dig 1 foot deep on a well, you may get a trickle. So you think
yeah,
you're solving a problem because you add another trickle. But if you go 100 meters down, it's like rushing well.
dude, it's insane. And you're tapping into reservoirs that some of us don't even know anything about,
Yeah.
right? Like you're talking
Yeah.
about generational water
Yeah.
instead of just like
A
drying up
trickle.
next month, you know?
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
was like, dang, man, that That hurts. I love
Yeah.
by now I should have balls of steel from how many
You don't
times I've
though.
been kicked, but
You
I
don't
don't.
though.
It hurts every time. So we talked about business, we've talked about family. What about just relationships in general? So I know we have mutual friends and there's been some, crazy stuff with that happened with some of our mutual friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even in my own life, like I have friendships and I have relationships with people that I don't feel there's purpose there. I feel like sometimes like I'm friends with them, we hang out, we go do stuff and it's fun, but then it's like where's the depth there? What do you think about when it comes to purpose in relationships?
But that's like networking 101. Everyone always tells you like if the circle you're around isn't making you better, why are you hanging around that circle? Like that's like networking 101. So you've got to find people that align with your vision for life. That's business partners, friends, church, wife, whatever it may be. Because if you're not aligned on what your worldview is and your vision for life is, chances are it won't work. And I've had so many mentors tell me that, and it's so true. Doesn't mean you can't be friends, like be friendly, love people, choose them, but like if you want to see yourself grow and you want to get to where you want to be, then you've got to be in rooms with people that are like-minded, same worldview and same vision. I mean, that's just hands down one of the most important things you can do for yourself. You'll feel better. Your purpose will be more defined because like if I'm hanging around people that don't have the same worldview and life vision, oftentimes I get away from my purpose because I start trying to solve a different problem, which is how do I connect with this person? How do I help them? Or how do they help me? Or how do we be friends? How do we hang out and talk about these things when I'm doing something completely different? Again, be friends,
Right.
love, but like get in circles with people, same worldview, same vision. You have to. It's so important.
That's so good. That's such good advice because it's really easy to try and be friends with everybody. And especially like people like you and me that are problem solvers that will take something, we'll think on it, and then we'll figure out a way to like make it work. Right.
Yeah.
It's like that's a major gifting. And as
Yeah.
soon as we get around some people that experience that and they're like, oh man, that's good. It's like they want to suck all your time away, you know?
Hmm.
And so being able to have boundaries with that as well, but also to your point, yeah, if they're not getting on with the vision that you have, um, because ultimately I believe that those visions come from God.
Yeah.
And if we adhere to them, even though it looks scary, fear, right? It may not look and be packaged in the way we want it.
Right.
Ultimately, if we hold true and stay loyal to that vision, he's the one who makes it all happen anyways. I feel
Right.
like. I mean,
Yeah.
mind you, there are steps that we have to take, right? It's not greasy
Yeah.
grace. You can't just send up a prayer and be like, "Oh, God's got it, bruh." Like I I believe that he can, but at the same time,
Yeah.
he invites us into the relationship and the companionship of doing it together.
Yep. Amen to that. Amen to that, man. Love it.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us on today's podcast, Chris. If people want to reach out to you and just talk and maybe get on your calendar and get some coaching from you or something like that, how do they get in touch with you?
One, they can reach out to you and you can connect us Instagram, Facebook, and my email is just chris@arisecapital.com.
Awesome. Sweet. So there you go. There you have it. Chris Hinze, thank you so much for joining today. And I look forward to our part 2. It's going to happen for sure. And as always, remember, forge on and stand strong. See you next time.